What's up, guys? Welcome to Movie Emporium's series review of Black Mirror. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button at the top to find out what's coming next, and also comment below on any video you watch in my YouTube channel. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, all that good stuff. Black Mirror is getting ready to release season 5. They're releasing 3 new episodes, and I'm really excited for it. I don't show it a lot of times, but I am super excited for Black Mirror season 5. Anthony Mackie is going to be in one of the episodes, which is really cool because he's part of the MCU, and we're going to talk about some episodes that other characters from the MCU were in. But the one thing that I always found fascinating about Black Mirror is a lot of people had not watched this series outside of the UK until it came to Netflix, me included. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. There were some really good episodes, some not good episodes. And what I wanted to do is kind of do a top 19, because there's only 19 episodes at the moment, of the ones I enjoyed in order of how I enjoyed them. So what I wanted to do, like I said, we're going to start with number 19, which is the worst. Go to number 1, which I think is the best, which I actually think is one of the best TV episodes in series and history. And we'll go from there. I am going to split this up into 2 videos just to make it easier for you and for me to put them online, because this is going to be a kind of a long video. And plus, I know you don't want to watch a 40-minute video or however long it's going to take. So we'll go ahead and do part 1, which is going to be 19 through 11, and part 2 is going to be 1 through 10. So let's go ahead and get started into the Black Mirror series order of what I think is the best, worst to best. So number 19 is... So the second to last episode of season 3 had a very cool premise. It was about technology advancement in the military, but these guys who were in the military were trying to help people from these feral mutants, and they killed a bunch of people. And in the process, he learns that the military is being using them to basically kill actual people. So the feral mutants are being disguised as humans, actual human beings. And of course, I haven't said the name of it, is Men Against Fire, and I just don't think the episode is very good. I think it's one of the worst in the series. It's not terrible amongst a lot of TV, but just the idea of what it was going for, why it was doing it, how it was playing out, it just wasn't very engaging. So I didn't like it. I didn't think it was great, but you know what? It's still better than a lot of other episodes. So, but we'll move on to number 18, which is... So number 18 came early into the series. It came into season 2, I believe, and it was the Waldo moment. A lot of people like this episode because it's dealing with politics and it's dealing with, the use of politics in TV. I just think it was mean-spirited. It's about a guy who has created this character called Waldo, and he uses it to basically gain political favor and to gain political, ability to become more popular. And he gets to a point where it's between him and another contestant. And because he's so bitter about the fact that he's hiding behind this character and he's not getting any publicity, he just basically drops out of the race and becomes homeless. And it's just, like I said, this guy is he's not a very nice guy, and he's doing a lot of brash, crazy stuff and being very mean. And it's just a mean episode. It's just not very much fun, and I didn't really care for it. So, but anyways, move on to number 17, which is... You want to talk about disturbing, you want to talk about mean episodes. Number 17 is Shut Up and Dance. I thought about putting this higher on the list because I did enjoy the episode, but the more and more I think about it, the more and more I just don't like it. It's a very disturbing episode. I mean, this kid who is very lonely by himself, he doesn't have any friends, he looks at porn online. One day he gets a virus and he clicks on something that causes this organization to basically blackmail him into releasing the porn he was watching or whatever. It's just like, you're kind of, what is going on here? And he does things that are more and more outlandish in the from the organization that's going to blackmail him, to the point where he kills somebody at the end, and you find out he's looking at child pornography. And it's like, I don't want to watch an episode like that. I'm sorry, we are already dealing with a lot of issues with pre-scandals and all kinds of people just doing disgusting things. And I know this has to do with technology, but does it really feel like a Black Mirror episode? Not really. It just feels like Charlie Brooker was trying to come up with something interesting. It just doesn't work. So it's not a very good episode. It's not very much fun, and it is what it is. So number 16 is... So this is an episode that a lot of people enjoy. I wasn't high on it. It has Kelly McDonald, who I really enjoy. She's an amazing actress. If you've seen Trainspotting, you know who I'm talking about. It was called Hated in the Nation, and Hated in the Nation was about these people, detectives, who were trying to figure out why these people are being targeted on social media and being killed off. And I know it's very prescient to what's going on in society now with social media and so on and so forth. But I don't know. I just don't. It was a little too long in my taste, and of course, that Benedict Wong, who is also an MCU character, so it was fine for what it was, but it wasn't the greatest thing I ever seen in the world. It was definitely better than Shut Up and Dance, but as far as just like on my list, I just thought this was an okay episode. So, but number 15 is it's an episode directed by Jodie Foster, who you remember from doing stuff like Silence of the Lambs. She also directed a movie called Little Man Tate, which if you haven't seen, I would definitely recommend seeing it because it's a good movie. She directs an episode called Archangel, and Archangel is about a mother who almost loses her kid. So she gets this protective app or whatever that allows her to keep an eye on her kid, and she basically uses it to block like the world from the kid, so the kid doesn't see any violence, doesn't see any danger, which is a very big hindrance because even though the world kind of sucks sometimes, you have to be ready for these situations. And at a certain point in life, the mother finally lets go and lets the girl see things. And when she sees this boy that she doesn't agree with, the daughter and mother have a fight. The daughter breaks the machine, so she can't track the daughter anymore, and therefore the daughter leaves and runs away. And it's a good episode. It's just a very dour episode. It's like a episode is like beware of how you treat your children, how you protect your children, and it's farther down the list because it's just kind of not a very interesting story. It's kind of boring, but it's cool. It's interesting to see what Jodie Foster did with it, and she has amazing talent as a director. So it is a visually stellar looking series episode. So, but we'll move on to number 14, which is so number 14 is Crocodile. It's directed by John Hillcoat, who has directed stuff like The Road and The Proposition, which if you haven't seen The Proposition, has Guy Pearce in it. It's a fantastic movie. But Crocodile is basically the story of a couple who have hit and run a person and they hide the evidence. And about 15 years later, the same woman witnesses a scene of an accident. And we have these people, claims adjusters. We have claims adjusters in the now, but they basically are able to pinpoint the incident by using little machines to basically see from people's points of view, and therefore they're able to determine like if the claim is just. Anyways, the woman who saw the accident, the claims adjuster ends up seeing some things that she's not supposed to see, and she starts to investigate it. Well, she gets captured, she gets killed. The woman kills the kid and their husband, and because she wants to not get framed, and she's at her other kid's recital, and when they're doing a recovery or trying to figure out who it is, they see the guinea pig, and they're going to use the guinea pig to figure out what happened. And that's kind of stupid. That's kind of like a dumb ending, which was a really decent episode, kind of plagued by that ending. So, but yeah, it's very well shot, it's beautiful. It's just that ending kind of ruined it. So that's the my ranking on that one. So the next ranking is, so we're once again staying in the same season. This is number 13, which is Metalhead. It's the first of 2 episodes directed by David Slade. David Slade did Hard Candy and 30 Days of Night. I think the visual style, the visual effect, the fact it's in black and white is pretty awesome. It's very cool. It's very visually appealing. I just don't think I think the story's cool, but it's not amazing. A lot of people really like this episode, would put it in their top 5. I just think it's a okay story. It's about these people trying to go retrieve an object, and they're being chased by like Terminator style robots, which are little dogs that they call them. And these dogs are really good at hunting down these people, and they finally get to where they need to be, and everybody dies. And the thing that we're going for is little teddy bears for the survivors, little kids. And it's an interesting story. It's a unique story. I just don't think it's a fascinating story. That's why it's lower on my list than most people. But the visual, like I said, the visual aesthetic of what David Slade is doing here is very him, and it's very cool. The one that I can't complain about him is his style of filmmaking. So, but that's number 13. So we'll move on to number 12, which is, so we move on to the first official episode of Black Mirror, and that's National Anthem. And National Anthem is extremely prescient with the society of the UK Prime Minister at the time. And we know about what happened with him and a certain animal, and it was kind of disgusting, but we'll not talk about that. Here, the Prime Minister is blackmailed. He is forced to go live on TV and basically have relationships with an animal. And it's very disturbing, very uncomfortable. But the fact that it was able to kind of be parallel with what was going on here is very unique. It's a pretty decent story. It's very well acted, and for a idea of what Charlie Brooker was going for, it's pretty impressive that he was able to come up with a decent story about prime minister having to do certain things. So it's a good episode. It's definitely worth checking out. But with that, go ahead and move on to number 11, which is, so I like Bryce Dallas Howard. I think she's an amazing actress. I also like Joe Wright. I've seen, if you ever seen Atonement or Hannah or anything like that, you know what I'm going for. You did Peter Pan or something like that. And they did an episode called Nosedive, which is extremely prescient. I keep saying prescient, but this is extremely prescient with today's society, because we are always trying to find a way to become popular, whether it be doing certain things, doing this and that. And this story is about how a app affects your society makeup. Basically, if you have people that like you, they'll give you a thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't know if that's the exact thing, but they'll give you thumbs up and thumbs down. And if you get thumbs up, you become rich, you become famous. But if you get thumbs down, you lose all that status and you can end up going to jail for life. And that's what's happening to Bryce Dallas Howard's character. She's so worried about trying to get that status that people end up not liking her and giving her that thumbs down, which decreases and decreases her status, because everybody's nice to each other. But the underlying theme is like, be careful, the surface level is never the undersurface level, kind of like your level surface, that type of thing. And the sadness of the story is she ends up going to jail because her rating goes so far down. And that's the way it is on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. It's, your status is based on how many views and likes you have, and if you don't have those, you don't have any status for people that have those types of egos. But I thought it was a good episode. It's not top 10 episode, but it's still a good episode. So, but with that, that's the end of part 1. Tell me in the comments below what you think of part 1. Where did you put these on your list, and we'll see you on part 2.